Let's take another look at all things binge-worthy. Once again, Mr. Binge TV Guru is going to give us a list to discuss. You can catch him here on Al in the Afternoon and on Binge-worthy TV Guru on Facebook.
Mr. Binge TV Guru. Like him on Facebook. You'll love this bit that we're doing. Mr. Binge, we're on third week of this, I believe, where you and I get together and talk about great TV shows, comedy shows, and then we get to pick, could that character have gone on and held their own? So far, I think we've agreed at about 50%, which is much more than usual. But
I think that's pretty good for us. Usually we differ quite a bit, but there aren't any shows on here that are from England. And that's where we seem to differ the most, is when they come from England.
They do all that humor. It doesn't make any sense. What's the Bobby? I have no idea. I don't want a foreign language. I don't have to read it on the bottom of the screen. I can't use that stuff.
Yeah, I hear you.
But the first one, I think we're going to have an interesting debate on just to start. Let's kickstart it with what I think is going to be the favorite one for me. It's from the Andy Griffith Show.
Oh, I'm sorry I broke your heart, Mother.
Pipe down, Otis, will you? Pipe down.
What do you mean, pipe down?
Just what I said. Knock it off.
Says who?
Says me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're gonna make me?
You're darn right I am.
You and who else?
Me, myself, and I.
That's three people.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hold it. Both of you be quiet.
Barney's in jail. Barney's in jail. Barney's in jail.
Otis on the Andy Griffith Show. I don't know why you didn't put Barney Fife on. Did Barney Fife ever get his own show?
Barney Fife did not, but he also was pretty much the lead in my opinion, in Andy Griffith's show. So, that was a hard call. And he did quit the show, as we know, and did movies.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I love one of my favorite shows with him was he was a fish. He turned into some weird fish Disney did. And I don't remember the name of the movie more. I've not been able to see it, but it became a cartoon fish under the ocean. I love that show. If anybody remembers the name of it, text me, al@alintheafternoon.com. Do you remember it, Mr. Binge?
I remember the movie. I'll have to think. It might come to me, the name of the show, the movie. But it was very entertaining, especially for kids. It was a good film.
I loved it back then. But we're talking Otis on this, because you're right. Barney was a main character. Otis was not. Your thoughts on whether Otis could have carried a TV show?
I think if Otis would have done a TV show at the time, it would have been very funny and they could have went a lot of directions with it. But as we both know, if they made that series today, it would not fly because he played a problem drinker, to say the least.
Oh, yeah. But he let himself in jail when he was too drunk and slept it off. I mean, I completely agree. I think he could have carried his own. Back in that time frame, that genre of stuff, there were comedians who just did I'm a drunk guy comedy. That's what they did. And again, I'm not going to remember the guy's name. Remember? Dean Martin did one with the Candy Man where he did drunk stuff. They do. The drunk thing was a comedy thing in the 50s and 60s.
It was. However, I did learn that Otis's character stopped appearing on Andy Griffith's show because his sponsors were concerned about his portrayal of excessive drinking. So even then, they stopped using him near the end of this series.
All right. Well, then that probably would have stopped it then, I presume. Yeah. But I think Otis had an interesting way of looking at stuff.
I loved his character, and it was awesome, and he had a very active voiceover career.
Yeah.
Very active. He was in the Flintstones as Fred's rich uncle. For Disney, he did Goofy, Winnie the Pooh. He played Owl. Davy and Goliath, he was Davy's dad. I mean, he did a lot of voiceover and did long after this series ended, ending his career as the horse in Beauty and the Beast in 1994.
I did not know that.
So very interesting cat.
Foster Brooks, thank you very much for the email. Foster Brooks, thank you. And that's why we have email people. Thank you very much for the quick response. Foster Brooks did his whole bit that way. He was just a drunk guy making fun, and he made an entire living doing it.
And he was funny. He was very funny.
Oh, yes. All right. Our next one, I want to find out where you sit on this. It's the Munsters' grandpa.
Incidentally, how did your date go tonight?
I think this one really likes. He's asked to see me again.
Of course. That stuff never fails.
What stuff?
Oh, just a little something I put in your oatmeal this morning. Love potion makes you irresistible.
But Grandpa, I didn't have any oatmeal today.
Well, don't worry. I'll mix up another batch for you tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry, Grandpa. Don't you see? This means he likes me for myself.
All right. I'm interested to see what you think about this because the gal, the niece, the only regular person in the bit, I hated her. As a kid, I had no time for her. Grandpa and the rest, they're all together ooky and a little bit spooky, and I loved it. And yeah, they could have each had their own. I would have been fine with it. I mean, it was just, that was the gag. I mean, right?
Yeah, and could he have had a TV show? He probably could have. And it's surprising that they didn't, because from what I've read, no one enjoyed his character more than Al Lewis, who played the character. He loved Grandpa, and he would perform and go out and do all these deals after the show was over, playing Grandpa. He just loved being Grandpa. Interesting thing about him, whether he could have had a show or not, what he ended up doing, he did a political radio show in his 70s, in his early 70s.
I think I actually knew that.
Did you know that?
That's coming back. You're saying that. I did know that Grandpa had a political talk show.
And at 75, he ran for governor of New York, and he got enough votes, that 52,000 plus votes, so he was able to get the Green Party on the ticket in those years, even though he didn't win. But he was a very interesting guy. Could he have had a show? I think he could have. I think this would have been entertaining.
I think there's room for him there. I really, really do. Let's go to break. We've got, I think, 3, maybe 4 more. I want to be able to get them all in. We've got 4 more. All right. We'll be back after this. I think we'll have a good conversation about Dr. Smith after this on Al in the Afternoon.
It's more of your friend that knows a guy, Al in the Afternoon.
I've got him as Mr. Binge, TV guru, on the program with us, talking about great comedy TV shows, characters in there. Could they have held their own and done it themselves if they had an offshoot? and we're having a lively discussion on it. This next one, Dr. Smith and Lost in Space, is interesting to me because I actually like the show, but I always thought to myself, it's weird why they think all the rocks in other, in other universes are like weird purple and green, right? But again, it contrasts their uniform, so maybe that's why they did it. It was good for color television. But let's do this. Dr. Smith.
To find Dr. Smith. He insults me.
You stay away from me, you garrulous gargoyle. You bubble-headed booby. I'll attend to you later, you infamous informer. You tin-plated traitor. Just for that, I'll rip out all your wires. It's all your fault. Now you stay here and cover our retreat, you bubble-headed booby. You tin-plated snitch. Get in there, you cowardly clump. Color him yellow and call him coward, you quivering quintessence of fear. Well, where are you, you bellicose bumpkin?
Dr. Smith from Lost in Space. Whose turn does it go first? Is it mine?
You go.
Sure. No way, no how. Single plate, he's as thin as this piece of paper. Right gag, put down robot. How long could that last? Would take me no time. Of all the characters in that program, any of the gals, I would have watched a show with her. He could have came on one show and it would have been discontinued before the third set of commercials. Do I need to be any more plain than that?
Plain and wrong at the same time you are, because this would have been a fabulous show with Dr. Smith in the lead, and you'd have guest appearances with Will, and Robot could come on all the time. It would have been brilliant. It would have been brilliant, especially for my 12-year-old self that watched it the first time. It would have been brilliant with him in it. And as far as those colored rocks you're talking about in Lost in Space, I didn't know till just now, I'm exaggerating, just now, that it was ever in color, because we only had black and white TV when I was a kid.
I'm not saying we were well off if we had color. Wow.
Yes,
you couldn't be any
it
more
would
wrong.
have been great.
There was nothing to that guy. He was there to rip a robot whose whole job was, stop, Will Robinson, stop. Now, really?
Oh, yes, it would have been great. And when he agreed to do this part, he did it just like it was written, and he was playing the bad guy, of course. Well, he was going to be killed off in the first season.
That would have helped us all.
That would have been destroyed the show, and he took control and wrote his own dialogue, and it became so popular they gave him carte blanche on writing his own script, and they said the only reason the show lasted 3 years is because of his dialogue.
All right, so not only could he not pull this character off, he could not write the character either. So we got that going for us. Fair enough.
Now, this guy taught drama classes, one of the things he did after his career. And one of the people he taught drama classes to was Chuck Norris. He taught drama to Chuck Norris, who was
that explains a lot. Chuck and the robot were very much alike in their acting skills. So
he was his voice coach. So there you go.
All right, fair enough. Our next one, I think we agree on this because a couple of the characters, a lot of characters came out of this show. Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah, Uncle Jed. How's you going to be keeping company with a girl? Is there any questions you like to ask me? What kind of questions? About girls. How much you know about girls? They softer than boys. Yeah, I reckon. Speaking. And they shorter and rounder. Yeah. And the hair's longer and it smells sweet when you snuggles up to them. Ooh, so you've been doing some snuggling, have you? I've done more than that. Yeah, I reckon you better tell me about it. Who was she? Prettiest girl in the hills. Big Mouth Bradshaw. Oh, Verna's girl. I hear tell she's kind of fast. Is she ever? Huh, Jed? I was walking past the cabin, and Big Mouth, she calls out the window to me. She says, "Howdy, Jethro." She says, "My ma's just made a big batch of cookies. Come on in and have some." And I says, "Sure your ma won't mind?" She says, "Ma's gone, and so's Pa. I'm here all alone." Well, Uncle Jed, I was in that house before you could wink an eye. Says I blame you. No sooner was I inside, the Big Mouth, she puts a music record on the phonograph machine, and commences to sashaying around, a twisting and a turning. Dancing. Yeah, I reckon so. Anyway, she says, put your arms around me, Jethro, and I'll teach you the two-step. What'd you say? I says, listen, Big Mouth, I says, here we are all alone, your ma and your pa gone, and you think that I'm going to waste my time dancing? I says, not me, sister. Bring on them cookies.
Jethro, yeah, okay, I went first last time. You get to go first this time.
You know, first of all, you definitely got sucked into that storyline. You had to see what happened, didn't you?
I did. It's like, okay, how far? I trusted Lewis when you put this together. This wasn't going someplace too inappropriate, so I did trust that this was going to land.
Absolutely, and it worked very well. But Jethro, you saw Jethro at his finest, and luckily not his own show, because it would have been awful. It would have been awful.
See, you
Jethro
are
in the
wrong
lead.
here. I think Jethro could have did his whole show on just how a young hillbilly like him compares hillbilly chicks, hillbilly lifestyle, everything at the Beverly Hillbillies. He would be a microcosm of what the Beverly Hillbillies was about. Bunch of yokos going to the Hollywood. He could give you that 20-year-old kid version of that. I think it would have been absolutely hysterical. That story right there proves he could have pulled it off, because I wasn't going anywhere till the 2 minutes was done and we found out, he went and got the cookies.
Now, what you just said, he could have done, basically you said he could have done justice to the original show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have. It was a horrible show with some good bits in it. I was not a big fan of that show. I'm sorry, but
yes, Lewis, you had it on 3 times. You had Grandma, you had Jethro.
Good characters. Bad show, good characters.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I think there are enough characters. They were all just different enough. I mean, even they're all hillbillies. But even as all hillbillies, the show worked.
Do you know what happened to him after the show?
No.
Okay. He was very much typecast, surprise, surprise, as Jethro, and couldn't get much work. So he went behind the camera and directed, produced, and did different things. And I thought, when I originally heard this years ago, I thought, well, nothing I really heard of probably. But he did a movie called Macomb County Line in 1974. It has the honor at that time of being the highest profitable film ever made. He made it for $1 million, and it brought in over $25 million, which at the time was the highest paid. He made tons and tons of money doing this kind of thing all throughout the rest of his life, and he's still alive at 84. Yeah.
We're going to run out of time, but I want to get this last one in before we go, because I got to get your opinion on it. It's Hogan Heroes, Colonel Klink.
That memo in triplicate and send it out immediately.
Of course, sir.
I don't recall having sent for you.
A very friendly attitude. Certainly hope the new camp commandant is more agreeable.
New camp commandant? That's ridiculous.
I don't expect to keep your job after the Red Cross inspector sees this place.
You know, Hogan, there are times when you can be most tiresome, and this is one of them.
Your thoughts? Oh, I guess maybe I go first. I love Colonel Klink. I think there's an entire show on how he ran that thing from the other side. You see it's a concentration camp, but they're not torturing most of these guys. They all seem to do it okay. Klink has got some way of figuring out a way, through the army to make sure he doesn't get caught with it. I think there's a whole nother side to it, and I think Klink would have been fun. Schultz coming in saying, I know nothing. It just carries over. I think there's no way he couldn't have done a fantastic job with a spinoff of Colonel Klink.
We're going to end this segment with agreeing, because I agree he could have had a good show, especially if he had Schultz coming in once in a while and some of the different characters from Hogan's Heroes. I think it would be great. He was a very good part. He was he agreed to do the show under one condition, that he would never be successful as Klink. That he did not want him to be a good guy, that he was an idiot, because then he would play the character and play it like that. And I thought it would be a great series also.
All right, so we didn't even come to 50-50 on these this week, but overall we came up with a good conclusion. I do agree with you on that. All right. Boy, I love having you on the program, sir. It is always a pleasure going through whatever list you come up with. I don't want to put you on the spot. Do you have one for us next week, or is it going to be surprise?
It's going to be a surprise, because I got a little different idea we'll try next week. I am still a little bit concerned about Mr. Smith, that you don't see that he would have done great great television show on his own.
Yeah, he
I'm
gets
just
he's
a little
worthless,
bit
worthless.
surprised, but
Just a little
I'll
worthless.
get over it.
All right, we'll catch you again next week, Lewis.
All right, we'll catch you again next week, Lewis. Thanks for being here.
You bet.